I'm Teddy Nyamaizi Nsamba, and I've been working with Green Resources for now 12 years and been through their systems or the structures. I started off as a plantations manager and went to be a senior plantations manager in Uganda operations, and currently for a year now I'm the ESG director. In Uganda as a whole, we know that Green Resources is doing a great job. One of the things that they have really done as an impact is encouraging other locals to plant trees. This we've done through issuing free seedlings to the communities every time, and it's just by a rule of the game for us as Green Resources that 10% of the seedlings produced in all our nurseries will go to the communities. That's a great impact. We've seen so many woodlots coming up. People want to plant the trees. We cannot even meet the demands in our communities for tree growing.
What type of work do you do with the communities?
With the communities, we've got lots of activities. Mainly we're looking at the tree growing in terms of forestry. We're also looking at their health in Bukaleva and in Kachung. In Bukaleva specifically, we've done maternity ward. We've also done, we also give medicine or drugs to the two health centers in Kombe and Bukatuve Health Center 2s. In Kachung, we've done 2 children wards. We've done the construction. So those facilities are really helping the communities. We also focus on the education. In Bukaleva, we're really taking on the girl-child education seriously and encouraging the parents to educate their girl child. We believe that the girl is a core in our nation, and that if we educate a girl child, then we know we are going to have a stable country, we are going to have stable families, and they can be able to support the rest of their families where they come from. So far we have supported 4 girls in Busoga, 2 are graduates, and 1 is now joining her university, and the other is also doing her own business after senior 6. Yeah. Our impacts do not only stop with the communities, but we've gone further in terms of education. We've had very many students coming through from the different forestry institutions in Uganda, just coming to learn what we are doing and how we are doing it. And that helps us to go across the board more than just the communities that we are working with. And those students being able to implement what they have learned is part and parcel of our knowing that we are taking our impacts further from where we are operating, but throughout the country.
Could you call yourself as like the company as a whole acting in 3 countries? Could you say that are you a forerunner in the business?
Yes, we would say, because Green Resources was actually one of the first tree growers in Uganda from 1996, and it has been one of the big planters in Uganda, and we will still be part of the big planters and doing things the right way. So we think we are promoting good forestry practice in Uganda. Sustainable forestry to me and for Green Resources is really a wholesome thing, and what we're doing is part of sustainable forestry. We want to conserve our forests in Uganda, first of all. The natural or the indigenous forests are tropical forests. But we also realize that there's a lot of pressure which is being placed on these forests. And that means we need people or companies like Green Resources to help reduce the pressure. And with that, we know that we will continue to maintain our indigenous forests. And we know for sure when we do the plantations, we are then working on rotations and that will create a gap. It has created a gap for some time, but then it will be covered as the trees continue to mature and we're harvesting them and then doing the replanting. So we cut down and then we do the replanting immediately, at least in a span of 6 months. And that is really sustainable. We are not keeping any areas vacant or idle. And that means that we are maintaining the forest cover where it's meant to be. The communities to us are very important. First of all, they are doing for us what is really key by giving us the labor. We can't do much without them, so we appreciate the communities. But even then, we know that the communities that we are working with, in the end, are the core of our business, that we have to reach out to them. First of all, they will provide the market for what we are actually producing. So that means business for us, and that means that we should maintain a good relationship with them, because they will need our products, we also need them. So it's a win-win situation. We need them, they need us, and then we work together. But even then, when we get down to some of the things that we do in terms of carbon markets, because we are involved in carbon sales, we realize that we need the communities and they need to be ideally in agreement with what we do. If they do not accept us, then we actually are out of business in the carbon market, because that's one of the criterias that we are gauged with. Yeah.
So would you say that the good relationship is the kind of a core business to you, like good relationship with the communities?
Good relationship with the community is part and parcel of our work, because we want to be socially sustainable. We don't want to be thrown out of business by the community, because they can easily throw us out. Yeah. Really love forestry right from childhood, because I was part of the Girl Guides in my primary school, way in the village in Masindi district. And because of that, we were encouraged to plant woodlots. So I got 5 seedlings from school, which I took home. I remember there were 5 eucalyptus trees, and planted them around home after talking to my mom, and looked after them like I was looking after a baby. After years of even not thinking about it, the trees had grown. And one time my brother cut one of the trees. I was very unhappy, and that really caused a very big pain or hurt in my heart. And I was really hurt because he cut the tree. I thought this tree should stay for forever. But as I grew up, I also noticed that I really had the love for nature, for agriculture. I went for so many field trips in forests or for wildlife. So I just loved to live with the nature. And I just told my dad, I wish one day I would grow up and work in a forest or work with the animals. I would want to talk to the animals or talk to the trees. And here I am. I'm so glad. Working for green resources is very important for me. One, because it helps me put my knowledge to practice, but then I'm also learning so much on my job. I have got lots of trainings, opportunities, and the exposure to know how things can be done better in forestry. And I believe that knowledge is the greatest resource that I can ever receive. So even when green resources is not here, or I'm not with green resources, I will still have the knowledge. And I think that is one of the best benefits that I receive from green resources. And the impact still goes further. I am employed. And that's a great privilege in Uganda. we have a high unemployment rate. So being employed is just one of those things that I don't take for granted. It's something that I do appreciate.